Hello everyone. For social studies today, we're going to be looking at the northeastern states that are a part of our country. Now, the article is only going to cover 9 of the states, but there are actually 11 states that are considered a part of the Northeast. And here they are: Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York. We all live in Pennsylvania. To the east of us is New Jersey. South of that is Delaware. And then here's Maryland. So those are all of the northeastern states. The article that we're going to take a look at has 9 of those states. Your job after you read the text is going to be to think about which state you would like to visit and give a reason why. So let's get started with the information. Okay, the first state is Delaware, and the text that we're going to be looking at for Delaware came from a piece called America's Story from America's Library by the Library of Congress. So this information is in a library that belongs to the people who actually make the rules for our country. Here's the information on Delaware. With the state motto of liberty and independence, it's no surprise that Delaware was the first of the original 13 states of the Union. It's often called the first or Diamond State. The state's name comes from the original governor of Virginia, Thomas West, Lord de la Warr. William Penn acquired the land that makes up Delaware to keep his Pennsylvania colony from being landlocked. Today, Delaware is one of the most industrialized states, known for its chemical research. Dover is the capital. The state flower is the peach blossom. And here's a picture of Delaware's state flower, the peach blossom. That's what it says right here in the caption, peach blossom. Right, the next state we're going to be looking at is New Hampshire. This information about New Hampshire is coming from the same source, the same piece at the Library of Congress. One of the original 13 states, it entered the Union in 1788. New Hampshire was named after the English country of Hampshire. New Hampshire is called the Granite State because of its numerous granite quarries. The nickname may also reflect the state's attachment to tradition and its history of a frugal government. There are no general sales or individual income taxes, which fits with the state motto, live free or die. A relatively small state, New Hampshire plays a major role every 4 years in the presidential election, as it holds the first primary election. New Hampshire's state bird is the purple finch, and its capital is Concord. So here's a picture of the White Mountains in New Hampshire. The next state we're going to learn about is Vermont. The information is coming from the same source again. In 1609, French explorer Samuel de Champlain came upon a large lake in the area we know today as Vermont and named it after himself. The state's name comes from 2 French words, vert, which means green, and mont, which means mountain, which explains Vermont's nickname, the Green Mountain State. Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys defended their homeland from the British during the Revolutionary War. Vermont is one of the 6 New England states and became the 14th state in 1791. Some of Vermont's major industries are dairy farming and tourism. One of the most picturesque states, Vermont has millions of visitors each year who come to see the leaves turn colors in the fall and the snow-covered mountains in the winter. The state flower is the red clover, and the tree is the sugar maple. Vermont maple syrup is one of the state's most popular products. Here's a picture of a sugar maple tree. Those are native to Vermont. All right, our next state is Maine. The text is coming from the same source. So for Maine, here's the information. The largest of the New England states in area, Maine in 1820, was the 23rd state to join the Union. Its name comes from an ancient French province of the same name. The most sparsely populated state east of the Mississippi River, it's appropriately called the Pine Tree State, as 90% of its land is forest. Not surprisingly, most of Maine's economy is related to timber and the production of paper and paper products, although the millions of tourists who flock each summer to vacation land are a significant source of revenue, which is money. The capital is Augusta. The state flower is the white pine cone and tassel. So right here is a picture of the pine cone. And also, it's called the white pine cone, I believe, because of the flower that's growing right here out of it. The next state that belongs to the Northeast that we're going to look at is New York. The Dutch West India Company established the first settlement at Fort Orange near present-day Albany in 1624, and another in New Amsterdam on the site of present-day Manhattan a year later. After the English took over in the 1660s, the colony was renamed New York after the Duke of York. One of the original 13 states to join the Union, it entered in 1788. New York is known as the Empire State. The state includes everything from skyscrapers in Manhattan to rivers, mountains, and lakes in upstate New York. Today, New York has the third largest population after California and Texas, and remains the financial center of the country. The state flower is the rose, and the capital is Albany. Here is a picture of New York City. There's the caption right here. All right, the next state we're going to look at is New Jersey. Here's the information. Italian Giovanni da Verrazzano in 1524 was the first European to explore the area we know today as New Jersey. One of the original 13 states, it joined the Union in 1787. It was named after the island of Jersey in the English Channel. New Jersey is referred to as the Garden State because of its fertile farmland. General George Washington won a key Revolutionary War battle at Trenton when he crossed the Delaware River from Pennsylvania and surprised the Hessian soldiers stationed there. Trenton is the state capital, and the flower is the purple violet. Atlantic City, a resort town and former home to the Miss America pageant, attracts visitors from around the world. Right here is a picture of the New Jersey State House in Trenton, New Jersey. The next state we're going to look at is Maryland. one of the original 13 states to join the Union in 1788, Maryland is the middle of the eastern seaboard. It's believed that Lord Baltimore, who received a charter for the land in 1632, named the state after Queen Henrietta Maria, wife of King Charles I. The Mason and Dixon line was drawn in the 1760s to settle a dispute between the Penn and Calvert families. In addition to marking the boundary between Pennsylvania and Maryland, it is the traditional boundary between the North and the South. Maryland is known as the Free State. Its flower is the Black-Eyed Susan, and its capital is Annapolis, home of the U.S. Naval Academy. Right here is a picture of a historical building in Annapolis, Maryland. All right, this piece of the article is about Massachusetts, and this is a picture of the Mayflower in Plymouth Harbor by William Halsell from 1882. Here's the information about Massachusetts. One of the 6 New England states and one of the first 13 states in the Union, it entered in 1788. Massachusetts is known as the Bay State or as the Old Colony State. The Pilgrims established their settlement at Plymouth in 1620, arriving on the Mayflower. They were followed shortly by the Puritans, who established the Massachusetts Bay Colony. The Puritans named their colony after a local Indian tribe whose name means a large hill place. The birthplace of many of the ideals of the American Revolution, Massachusetts attracted people who believed in self-government. It's appropriate that the state flower is the Mayflower, also known as the trailing arbutus. Right, here's information about where we live, Pennsylvania. Although Swedes and Dutch were the first European settlers, William Penn, a Quaker, named Pennsylvania in honor of his father by combining the name Penn and the Latin term Sylvania, which translates as woodlands, to come up with Penn's Woodlands. Known as the Keystone State, Pennsylvania is one of the original 13 colonies. It entered the Union in 1787. Today, 2 major cities dominate the state: Philadelphia, home of the Liberty Bell, Constitution Hall, and a thriving metropolitan area, and Pittsburgh, a busy inland river port. The Amish, a group of people who live without the use of modern technology, live in the countryside of Pennsylvania. The capital is Harrisburg, and the state bird is the ruffed grouse. So here is a picture of the Liberty Bell. All right, so that was the end of the article. Your job now is to choose which state you would like to visit and give at least one reason why. So you're not going to choose Pennsylvania because you live here. Please choose another one of the states that you heard about. All right, I'll check out your responses once they're done.